combed straight back. And I don't know if by long, if he meant really long, like, because this is 1960, and men had short hair back in those days. So long could have just been like, kind of longish. I'm not really sure that it was
shaggy.
Yeah.
A couple inches long could have been long hair.
Yeah, back in those days. He said he had white teeth, so that's good. A straight nose and kind of thick lips. He had acne on his forehead and cheeks, and of course he saw him through that big hole in the side of the tent. He also said under hypnosis that he tried to crawl out of the tent, and he crawled out, and then the attacker kicked him in the face.
Yeah.
They kicked him in the mouth, I think. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was what broke his jaw or not.
He said, there were some other weird things he said when he was under hypnosis.
But the thing about it is you get hit in the head, you get a concussion. I mean, I could see. I don't have any faith that hypnosis can really restore lost memories. Say if your brain has suppressed them.
Yeah.
I mean, perhaps if your brain has suppressed them because of trauma.
Yeah.
But if
probably
you get
not physically suppressed. Yeah.
Yeah, if you get bashed in the head and the face
The brain
a couple
is
of times.
incapable of recording them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're sustaining a small amount at least of brain damage, and so I don't think you can restore those memories.
I agree.
So I really have big doubts about the whole hypnosis thing.
It was under hypnosis that he said the timeline, right, that they had gone to bed at 10:30, and then he said they woke up and both the boys went down to the lake and went fishing.
Yeah.
And that was when he said, I was going to go swimming, but I decided not to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he said, and then we came back and we went to bed again.
Yeah, he ate some
So I
breakfast
don't know if
and then went back to bed. Yeah.
So I don't know if they just woke up because it was getting light out, or
It's entirely plausible that when the night is that short, that you take a 3 or 4 hour nap and you get up for a little bit because you can't sleep anymore.
Yeah.
Do something. Nothing puts you to sleep faster than food in your belly.
That's true.
And then lay back down and take a quick nap.
Yeah.
And try and get another couple hours.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, really early in the morning is a good time to go fishing. So, and so it's entirely possible that
He just woke up because of that.
But again, I don't trust that he actually really truly remembered this
agree
stuff.
with that.
It might be people can become really suggestible and stuff under hypnosis, and it might have been that that's what they planned on doing.
Yeah.
The night before, it was like, hey, let's get up at dawn and go fishing. And
This actually tells me probably what happened and who is guilty of the whole thing.
Who's that?
Well, we all know that the chupacabra likes to fish. And he's really territorial.
And he does not like
He
competition.
does not like competition.
He does not.
And he doesn't like people in tents either.
That's true.
that could
So,
be.
Yeah.
I think we found our culprit.
I think we have. You're right.
Choopy. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the rest of this is pointless. I might as well. So you can find our.
We'll just burn this.
Yeah.
No, I will say just to the credit of the whole hypnosis thing, at least in this case, I agree with you. I don't think that it can, if you've sustained a concussion, no. I mean, if you're like suppressing childhood memories because they're bad, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Psychologically traumatic.
I'm just going to say it again. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But
She's saying maybe.
what I'm saying is, okay, maybe. But I don't know. I did read the interview, at least the translation of the interview, and it did sound like the questions were pretty straightforward, as recorded at least.
Yeah.
It was, okay, so tell me about that night. And then he would say some stuff, and they'd say, okay, and then what happened? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And what did
They
the
weren't
killer
trying
look
to-
like? What about his nose? What did his nose look like?
Yeah, his
so
teeth,
it
his mouth,
sounded...
his-
It did seem pretty straightforward, at the very least.
They were not trying to plant any ideas in his head.
No, but there were some times where he would say, I don't know, and they'd say, no, you know.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, oh, you're right, I do know.
Yeah, see, but the thing about it is he remembers things like crawling out of the tent, getting kicked in the face. But the fact that he was found outside the tent, and they had already told him, it's not like they kept everything from him. They told him, hey, you guys were all, your friends were all beaten and stabbed to death, and you were found lying on top of the tent with a concussion and a broken jaw, yada yada. So he's going to be thinking to himself.
Yeah.
And so he goes into hypnosis thinking that, and so maybe he didn't crawl out of the tent.
Yeah.
Maybe the killer dragged him out of the tent.
Maybe.
I mean, it's hard to say, but I think he is just. I'll leave that hanging. Let's talk about some suspects.
Okay.
Our first suspect was Pauli Luoma. According to Wikipedia, he was an escapee from a work department nearby, and I'm not sure what a work department is.
I think it's probably like a work crew, right?
Yeah, like a chain gang sort of thing,
yeah.
or work crew. So he probably had been convicted of some crime. But they caught up with him pretty soon after the murders, and they questioned him about the murders, but he happened to have an alibi. And I really can't tell you why this guy is even included on all the list of suspects that you see up there on the web.
Escaped convict
nearby, but you know, I mean, the guy was on a work crew. He obviously had not done anything too serious.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
Yeah,
probably. I don't know.
You know, according to Shawshank Redemption, they would put anybody on the chain gang work crew.
Well, and I also don't know how the jail system works in Finland. There are a lot of places in Europe that do like real, actual rehabilitative punishment for crimes that end up in politics. Doesn't matter anyway, but they do actually do, like, they try to rehab criminals instead of...
Probably a good idea to try to rehab people.
Probably not a great idea to, like, lock them in isolation for years on end. But,
no, not really, yeah.
Meh.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Works with cats.
Yeah. Let's go on to our next suspect. This guy is Pentti Soininen.
That was better than I could do.
Pentti Soininen. He was a maintenance man. I don't know if that meant he was a janitor or a guy who worked on things or what, but he was in maintenance.
He maintained things.
He'd been convicted of several violent crimes in the late 1960s, and about 8-9 years after the murders, he was in jail, and he confessed to the murders then. And he did happen to live near the site of the Lake Bottom murders at the time they were committed. And they interrogated him, but his confession was not given much weight because he was really vague and cryptic. And some people said that he was a psychopath.
There was a weird, and again, this may be just kind of an oddball translation thing, but I saw the cryptic description that you were just given for him, the vague and cryptic. I also saw something in combination with that of when drunk.
Oh yeah, drunk or on drugs. Yeah.
I was like, well, a lot of people are weird and cryptic when they're drunk and on drugs.
Yeah, true that.
What the heck does this mean? Like,
yeah.
It's odd.
It's cryptic.
Yeah,
Steve.
I guess
you're right. It is. I'm sorry.
I'm assuming that when they asked him, well, okay, you killed him. Why'd you do it? And he was like, well,
give me another beer and I'll tell you.
I had my reasons, something like that. I mean, I don't know.
I know they're dead, and I know they're buried close to the town.
Yeah. And as soon as my mother dies, I'll tell you. Yeah. In 1969, he committed suicide by hanging himself. And he did have a pretty lengthy criminal history, but, it's hard to take this too seriously because in 1960, he would have been only 15. So...
That's starting a little young. He'd have been the same age as the girls.
Yeah, the same age as the girls.
And the boys are 18, and at that age, boys kind of have a growth spurt, and I imagine that the 18-year-old boys would have been a little more powerful than him.
Yeah,
a lot more
powerful. If they could have gotten themselves unwrapped from a 10.
True.
If there's a canvas pressing down on you and you're just woken from a slumber by something hitting you over the head, I don't know that you're necessarily going to immediately be like, I can overpower you. You're going to be like, what is going on?
Oh, yeah,
and flail a little bit and then, like, get hit again, and then you're done.
Yeah, he's going to be pinned in there. They're going to be pinned inside. He's going to be on top of them, Well, the key is to bash the two guys over the head first.
He didn't look like he was that, or Niels didn't look like he was that big.
Didn't look like he was all that big and powerful.
Kid.
Yeah, but
he wasn't
gangly.
Bulky. Yeah, he was definitely just a tall guy.
Yeah.
Also, before we go any further, I just want to go ahead and say how funny it is that while most murders you struggle to find even one viable suspect, and in this one you've got at least 3 people who have admitted to it.
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty common thing.
Yeah, it is common.
Is it? It's common for a bunch of people to be like, oh yeah, no, I totally did that one.
Yeah, no, a lot of people confess to crimes they didn't commit.
Especially if they're well-known, notorious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember we had that conversation last week about people saying, I want to go down as X in
but
history.
they never actually admit to it. They always kind of allude to it.
But there's also this other subclass who didn't do it, don't have the stones or the capability to do it, but will claim they did it so that maybe they can get recorded in history. I need to be remembered for knocking off that one guy, and there's everybody who was involved. It's like there's no way he could have done that.
Sure.
He couldn't overpower a fountain pen.
Yeah,
but he's going to keep making the claim.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, no, it is funny, but I don't know. I kind of doubt his story. I think a lot of people do this stuff because, like you say, they want fame, they want attention, they want to get their name in the papers.
No.
Yeah.
Next up,
Valdemar Gilstrom. He was one of the prime suspects. He ran a kiosk very close to the murder site, like right in the park that it was in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what he sold in the kiosk. Could have been coffee, trinkets,
hot dogs.
I get the feeling the kiosk is another way to say store.
Yeah.
Like a little tiny general store.
Yeah.
Like they have at camps.
Yeah, they typically out there they have stuff like that. You know, people want to buy beer or pop or whatever, right? Yeah. But he had a reputation for being irascible, for hating young people and kids.
And campers.
And yeah,
Isn't he the one who just hated campers?
Yeah, supposedly I've heard in other versions of that he hated campers.
The people who brought him business, he hated them.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I experience that in my job all the time. The customers I deal with, I'm just like, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, but oh my God, I have to deal with you.
Sadly.
You do too. I know you do. You talk about it all the time.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but yeah. Also, there were some kids that knew him who said he was like mean to them and would throw rocks at them when they rode by and on their bikes at night and stuff. So he was kind of a jerk.
Okay.
Yeah, this guy also committed suicide in 1969. Interestingly enough. Yeah, there's a big wave of suicides. Actually, I think Finland has a pretty high suicide rate.
I'm guessing it's the daylight cycle that messes with people.
Might have something to do with it.
The blondness of the hair.
Yeah,
I don't think that's actually it.
Yeah. His story is why he's believed to be a suspect is just because of his personality, but also in the late 1960s, he confessed. Apparently, was drunk, but he confessed to his neighbor that he had committed the murders.
He confessed more than once, didn't he?
I think so. Yeah. What else did he do that was suspicious? He had a well on his property, he filled in a well on the property a few days after the murders. And
How is that suspicious?
Well, because
What do you mean, how is that suspicious?
Yeah, the thought is that he threw the murder weapons down to the bottom of the well, then filled the well in.
The rocks?
Yeah,
the knife.
Or the pipe and the knife, or the rock and the knife.
And then filled it in.
Wells, I admit I didn't take the time to actually look at the village, and I'm guessing you did this, Joe, on the map.
No, I did, but I didn't find his house or anything.
Well, I'm trying to get an idea. I'm guessing that everybody had their own well to pull water, but I'm guessing that well was rather old, and just because it's a well doesn't mean it's a super deep well and a very good well.
Yeah.
People are all the time are like, this well, it sucks half the time, it doesn't work. I'm just going to fill it in.
Yeah.
Well, I would be interested to find out if he had plans to do that before any of this ever took place.
Well, that's the whole thing. Is by this time, I'm sure there was a municipal water system in the town. I'm sure, and so
there was no need for the well.
There was no need for the well.
Which, let's be honest, according to Timmy, wells are dangerous.
Yeah,
because Timmy is always in the well.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess my suspicious brain is like, but maybe like 2 days after a murder happened right near your place of work.
Hey, life goes on, right? Yeah.
Not for everyone.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My vacation was planned, and I'm taking my vacation, and it's not my fault that those dumb kids got themselves killed. Yeah. I got stuff to do.
Well, he might have had it scheduled too. He might have had a work crew come by and do it.
Yeah,
or he might have had somebody deliver a bunch of dirt to him.
Yeah.
And a bunch
because he had to get dirt from somewhere to fill it in. It's
gravel,
a hole in the ground.
Yeah, dirt, gravel, rocks,
That's
whatever.
True.
Yeah, so maybe that delivery showed up, and on the scheduled day, and So it's hard to say about if that really means much of anything. And frankly, a lot of people are all puzzled that the police didn't dig up the well, because everybody's thinking, well, he filled it in, the weapons must be down there. But the police didn't do that, and people were wondering, well, why didn't they? And frankly, what kind of a bonehead would stash his murder weapons on his own property? I mean,
actually, a lot of them.
Yeah, maybe.
Most of them bury remains on their property. I mean,
yeah, I know there is that. Oh my God, one of the most famous ones was the guy who murdered his roommate and chopped the body up so he could fit it into a garbage can. Mm-hmm. And then he put the garbage can in his storage unit.
Yeah.
And then, have you heard this story?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he
didn't pay the rent?
Yes, he apparently forgot to pay the rent or something, and oh my God.
Just what?
What a bonehead.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just don't think that he would take the weapons all the way back to his house and fill in the well when he could so easily throw them in the lake or just toss them off into the woods.
It might have been his favorite knife, and he may have not realized what a stir the whole thing was going to make, and then panicked. I mean, that's a reason that he would have. I know I'm bouncing both sides of this, but that's a reason why a guy would throw it in there.
Yeah, and
drag it all the way home. Nobody's going to care.
I don't know. I guess for me, this is the one of the confessions that, like, kind of does it for me. All right, you're convicted of a lot of stuff. You're in jail. You're, like, bragging to your friends in jail. You're like, oh, yeah, no, I totally killed those kids. Yeah. This guy, like, said it to his neighbors when he was drunk one day. Like,
yeah, he did.
That's a weird thing to say, knowing that the cops might come after you at any point and throw you in jail for the rest of your life, even though you were an otherwise upstanding citizen, because you said drunk one night, like, yeah, actually, I killed those kids.
I don't know if he was that upstanding of a citizen. He sounded like a big jerk.
He does sound like a jerk, but I'm just saying, like, he wasn't otherwise in trouble with the law.
Okay.
He wasn't already serving a life sentence. So for him to just offhandedly say, oh yeah, I did that, that's weird to me. I don't think he did it. I agree, but that of the admissions is the one that gets me. It's like, why would you? That's like me just saying to you guys, oh yeah, I kidnapped this kid.
Yeah,
like,
I don't get it either.
Why would I say that to you? Like,
people do weird stuff when they're blind drunk, though.
They sure do.
Stuff comes out.
You know, how many guys in bars have told you how they were like Green Berets and Navy SEALs?
Yeah, and you can tell that they haven't run a day in their life.
Well, that is a little different.
It's totally different.
It's that kind of talk is not going to land you in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might get you
but that's exactly what both of these are to me. Talk.
Yeah, that's fair.
Again, I don't know how the police, he originally came to their attention, but they did search his house, but not the well. His wife gave him an alibi, and so they crossed him off the list. And after his death, his wife said that he had threatened to kill her if she ever backslid on the alibi thing.
Right.
So I really don't know.
Hard to tell.
I find it hard to believe. I don't really see a motive there. I mean, sure, he hates young people and campers, but
it's a pretty brutal attack.
Well, it is.
One of the girls was stabbed like 11 times or something.
I heard
like
like 15 times.
Yeah, like a lot of times. Yeah. It wasn't just like, oh, oops, I hit this one kid over the head with a rock, and now I got to do the rest of them. And it was like.
You say that as if you've had that happen.
Well, it's just like whoops. No, but I don't remember which one it was, but she was hit over the head, and that killed her.
It was Imali, yeah.
And then,
so yeah,
that's pretty brutal.
Yeah,
that's. I agree. I don't see the motive there.
I don't quite get it. Of course, I didn't know the guy. Our next suspect is a guy named Hans Assman.
Yeah.
I knew you two jokers were going to do that.
You knew. That was the only reason I was like, I don't really want to talk about this story, but I get to say ass man.
I know, ass man.
I'm assuming that is not how his name is pronounced.
I assume it's pronounced Osman, but I don't know. I don't know exactly.
We call him Osman from now on.
Yeah, okay, we'll call him Osman.
You're ruining our fun.
Yeah, Osman actually might not have been his original name. There was one story out there that he, I think, told by him that he stole he stole another officer or another German soldier's name.
So let's talk about him, because it's kind of interesting.
Well, yeah, okay. So he was a German who claimed that he had served in the SS in World War II. And then after a year in the SS, he served as a guard in Auschwitz. So, yeah, just a real nice guy.
Really, really
good,
nice.
Good CV.
Kind-hearted soul.
Yeah, apparently later he fell out of favor. He was dating a Jewish girl, and so fell out of favor for that reason and was sent to the Eastern Front, where he was captured by the Soviets and sent to a prison camp. And at some point during his Soviet experience, he decided to become a KGB spy. Now, how much of this is true, I don't know, because we only have his word for it.
And it doesn't sound like the movie plot of James Bond at all.
Yeah, I know. So it's amazing out there how many people say that just, on web pages and stuff, just say he was a KGB spy or a suspected KGB spy, when I can't think of a single reason to believe he was a KGB spy. Because number one, he wasn't even a Russian.
The only reason that I ever saw that seemed even remotely plausible is that people thought that the reason he hadn't actually been investigated was because the Finnish government was scared of him actually being a KGB spy. That they did preliminary inquiries, and it was revealed that the KGB was like, hey, actually don't look into him, and they were like, okay, yep, no, you got it, no problem, no, we're not going to do anything about it. That was the only even vaguely reasonable idea that I could find.
I have not heard anything credible out there about this at all, the Sangamo thing. I don't think they're that terrified of the Russians. I mean, obviously they've been Finlandized. We don't know what that means, but they're sort of not exactly under the sway of the Soviets, but they kind of do what, and of course, the
Frankly,
Russians
if
now.
I were asking questions and the KGB was like, hey, actually stop asking that, even though I am like an American citizen, I would be like, no, no, you got it.
Probably,
I'm done.
yeah, because,
No, it's fine.
they've got a